So a very hearty good evening to all of you present here. I hope you all are great and healthy. Myself Ashish Kashyap and I'm the web dev lead of GDSC IIIT Bhopal. Today marks the beginning of our week-long series of events and workshops as a part of our Web Development Week campaign. Web Dev Week would consist of number of sessions on web development topics that would give an insight and serve as an introduction to you in this field. We assume you know absolutely nothing about this field, hence all these sessions would be absolutely beginner friendly. Our speakers will share insights on how you can enhance your career in this field. The campaign will conclude by organizing an online hackathon for you guys on DevFolio platform. There is no registration fee for participating in the hackathon, and the hackathon will operate on an open track basis and no problem statements or prompts will be enforced on you. You are free to submit your work in the field of web dev, AI/ML, or blockchain. We'll provide you mentors as well, and mentors would be the people taking sessions in the upcoming week. And feel free to reach out to them to help you during hackathon if you are stuck at a particular step. And regarding prizes, prizes would include cash prizes and swags from GDSC and Devfolio for the winners. And also we would be having track prizes for the submissions done in the category of track prize of our sponsors like Cello, Polygon, Filecoin, etc. But there's a one prerequisite to avail prizes that you should be enrolled in our GDSC chapter and you must RSPV for the web dev series that we are currently conducting. Further details regarding hackathon would be shared soon. So please join the Web Dev Week Discord server that we will link in the chat, and stay tuned to all our communication channels that we have created. And regarding the Web Dev Week, the schedule is as follows. On day one, that is today, we will have an introduction to HTML and CSS uh, session that would be given by Kunal Vijay, who is the assistant web dev lead of GDSC IIIT Bhopal. Tomorrow, that is day 2, we will have introduction to JavaScript and DOM session that would be given by me from 7 p.m. On day 3, we have Prashant Pandey who would be leading the session on Node.js and Express. So please do attend that session. And on day 4, we will having Ajay Sharma who would be explaining you Node.js and how to use it for more than just web in the fields of IoT and embedded applications as well. And on day 5, we would have Aryan Singh who would be introducing you to React basic concepts, and the timings would be as usual from 7 p.m. onwards. And also I wanted to share with you that we will be organizing 3 quizzes, and the top 3 winners of those quizzes will be awarded GDSC swags, GDSC t-shirts to be precise. And yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Yeah, and the timings, the dates would be, the first quiz would be conducted on day 3, that is just before the start of this getting started with Node.js and Express session. Quiz 2 would be conducted, uh, sorry, the first session, yeah, first quiz would be conducted on day 2, second would be on day 3, and fourth would be on day 5, right? And if you have any queries regarding what is GDSC and what we do, etc., join us in the orientation at the SSC and Manet Auditorium on 6th of April. And regarding timings, that would be conveyed to you really soon. So I truly hope you do enjoy this event and have a great learning experience. So yeah, that's all from my side. Uh, so over to you, Kunal. You can carry on.
Thank you, sir. Oh. Sir, can you turn off your screen share? So can I present my screen? Yeah. So, is my screen is visible, sir?
Yes, it's visible, Kunal.
Okay, sir. So, firstly, a very warm good evening to all of you, and thank you all for seeking interest in today's session. I am Kunal Vijay, Assistant Web Dev Lead at IIIT Bhopal, and your mentor throughout today's session. So, let's get started. So, when we talk about web development, the first three things came to our mind are HTML, CSS, and JS, which are also the building blocks of web development. HTML defines the content and structure of our web page. CSS gives its style and deals with its presentation, and JS adds functioning to our web page. In today's session, we will learn about basics of HTML and CSS and apply it to make a intro form website. So firstly, HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. A markup language is a computer language that uses text to define element within a document, whereas hypertext refers to a software system that allows extensive cross-referencing between related section of text and associated graphic material. That is, we used a hypertext markup language to design our web page by using tags. So the basic structure of HTML, this is somewhat look like this. Uh, I show it into a code editor, which is VS Code. So I hope you probably know what is VS Code. So firstly, we have a code snippet for our boilerplate, that is exclamation mark. So we start the structure of our HTML file. First, we define which doc type we are using, that is HTML. Then we use opening and closing tags to opening and closing tags to define our data. So first we select language, which is equals to English. Meta tags, these are used to describe the structure of our web page. In this, character set is set to UTF-8. Other character sets are ASCII code, which we do not use in web development. Uh, we set initial device width and initial scaling to 0. Then comes the title tag. As we can see, I hope who are aware about VS Code also know the extension of live server. Live server allows us to see live web page review while creating it. So as you can see now, our document doesn't have any data, document body, since we don't write any code in it. So firstly, the title. So we can change the title. I suggest it to intro form that we are creating after the session, and the body. So as you can see, whatever I write in the body is shown here. So the actual data we are getting from our website is written in the body tag. So now the other HTML tags we going to use are HTML heading tags, uh, paragraph tag, anchor tags, image tags, and image tags. So first the heading tag. So heading tags are defined from H1 to H6, in which H1 is the most important heading and H6 is the least important heading. As you can see here, H1 is the most biggest heading that signifies the most important heading, and going down to H6, which is the least important heading. Then comes the paragraph tag. Paragraph tag, as the name suggests, used to write paragraph. So we enclosed in p tag and write the paragraph here. Browsers automatically add single blank line before and after each paragraph like we normally do. And now come the anchor tags. Anchor tags used to add links to our website. Links are most important attributes in our website because we can jump through one page to other page through links. Then come the image tag. Image tag is used to add image to our websites, which we know today all website contain images and all. Other tags are form tags in HTML, which we discussed while creating the intro form. So I show you how these form works, how these tags work. So firstly, the heading tag. Firstly, so as I showed you, heading tags from 1 to 6. So this is heading 1. When I save it, you can see heading 1 is the biggest. Going down to heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, and heading 6. Two. As you can see, heading 1 is the biggest heading, and heading 6 is the smallest, which signifies they're important. Then comes to paragraph tag. Paragraph tag, we use p tag, open and close, to write a paragraph. So if you use VS Code, you know lorem is the code for a sample paragraph in VS Code. So as you can see in the paragraph tag, it gives a one line space before and one line space after each paragraph. Then comes to anchor tag. Anchor tag. So I copy this code. Next, the anchor tag. As I save this tag, you can see visit DSC IIIT site. So in this anchor tag, we have an attribute href. Href defines the URL which we want to access through our anchor tag. So as I click on this URL, it will jump to our GDSC IIIT website. I hope you know this website. Now, the fourth tag is the image tag. So image tags are using IMG tag are used to embed image in our HTML page. So image tag have two attributes: SRC, that is source, which specifies the path to image, and ALT, that is alternate text if the message is not displayed for some reason. So like we have an internet issue or slow data speed. So in that case, if we couldn't load the image, so it show the alternate text which have some information about the image, like uh, we have some image girl, and alter text is a girl in a jacket. So if this image doesn't load, we can get the idea what is this image is about. So so in this source section, I get a random image. So for a random image, you can use a website known as unsplash.com. Unsplash.com create a huge bulk of images for which you can choose for background and another things. You can just write the query and you get the image like sports, etc. Sports. So I get the images of sports. So if I want, If I want to copy that image, I copy its address and paste it in post tag. Connect football image. So as I save it, you can see the image is in our website. Here you can see I defined its width and height. Width set to 500 and height. So we can also alter this like 200, 200 and save it. So we can control the size of image and other properties. But usually we do not do this. This is known as inline CSS, which we generally don't prefer. We prefer either internal CSS or moreover external CSS. So if we want to define the height, size, image, brightness, other attributes, so we use external CSS, which we talk about later. So then comes the CSS. So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS used to handle the presentation of web pages, as I told you before. It adds stylings to our website and make it responsive. Styling, adding color, aligning text, modifying, and responsive means that our site is compatible with multiple devices like mobiles, phones, tabs, etc. So as we can see, this is the structure of our body. Like this, HTML defines the structure of a website, and CSS converts into a fully fledged website. Like this structure is converted to a human by adding skin, color, etc. attributes. So the basic CSS in text contain three attributes. First is selector, which we want to apply the CSS on, the property which we want to change, and the value. So as we can see in this example, we have a paragraph tag, and we set its text color to blue. Then, as I told you before, there are three types of CSS. So, firstly is inline CSS. Inline CSS is the CSS which is attached to the tag. So, as we can see in this paragraph tag, we used a style attribute and defined its color, font size, font weight, italic, etc. Then comes the internal CSS. Internal CSS, we use the same concept, the property, the value, and the tag we want to switch the property. But in internal CSS, we do what? We write it in style tags under the head section. So if we have to apply on multiple tags of same p type, so we do not have to repeat the CSS. The third approach is to create a .css file and link it to our HTML file through link tag. By this, we can separate our structural code to our design code. So this is also written in the head section, and we use link tag and this attribute rel style sheet and href. As I tell you, this gives the location we want to get data from. So style.css. Then comes the CSS box model. This is the most important topic of CSS, as it defines how the CSS modifying is done in each model. So the model contains four main phases: margin, border, padding, and content. So con- content is what we write the text, paragraph, etc. Uh, this is the main box which contains the paragraph, in which we have padding. The padding is gap between the border and the content. Similarly, the border is the outline of the our main container, and the margin is the difference between two containers. So this is the basic of HTML and CSS. Now we create a form using what we have learned so far, and learn some new learn some new tags. which are form tags. So as you can see, this is an intro form created by just using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So our main goal is to create. How this works, I can show you it's working. I add my name, email, branch, and something about myself. So hello, I am Kunal. IT Bhopal. So as I submit this, this information is stored in the form of JSON in the record page. Right. So our main goal is to create this CSS. The JS part we discover in the later session, which will be taken by Ashish sir tomorrow. So the CSS part. So as we can see, our first goal is to create um, a nav bar which contains homes and record links. So nav. So in the header tag is used to define the header of our web page. In this, we create nav tag is used to create nav bar generally. We defined a class nav bar. I hope you know the concept of class and ID. Class we use when we want to access a group of tags, whereas ID is defined for a particular tag. So here we give two link attributes. First, home, which refers to index.html. As you can see the structure of our uh, website, it contains four things. Index.html, which is the landing page of the website. Records.html, which contains the data we insert. Style.css, as I show you the external style sheet, and the script.js, where we write our functioning code. So I load it. You can see two attributes are there, but you can see it is not looking like a nav bar. So what we do, we add some style in it. So from website, as you can see, first part is to add a background to a body. So for background, you can either add an image. So wait a second. Ah, as I told you, I got to link the style sheet on HTML. So first we link our HTML oh, style sheet in our HTML document. So link dot style sheet path is root dot style dot CSS. Save this code. As you can see, we link our style sheet and we define a body color. So as you can see, this is a gradient body color. So you don't have to learn all these attributes. What you have to do is just go to a website that is named UI gradient. And here you can select from thousands of gradients for your website. Which will you like? Just copy the CSS and paste it. As you can see, the background of our website is changed. Also, you can add image to a website background like this. I added this image to a website background. This contains two attributes. First is URL of the image, which can either be a downloaded image or a link to a image. And the property is set to no repeat. That means the image do not repeat in background. The third property is I reset it to default. The third property is background size, which will set to cover. Cover, cover does what? It spreads the whole image so that it covers the entire body background. And the height is set to 100 VH. VH means view height. That is the height we are seeing in the our body section. This height. Now, our main motive is to set the nav bar. So the nav bar, firstly, we set its background color to black. As you can see, like this, we have to set its background color to black. But now we can see these home and records attributes are not in one line. So for that, use the property overflow auto and float. Overflow auto does what? As you can see, now these are in one line like this. Uh, uh, the website we want to make. So overflow or auto property does what? It controls the overflow of the element. That is, if the content inside the element is overflowing, that is more than the height and width given to the container. So in that case, the instruction it will perform which were defined from it. Mm. So it has many attributes like auto, hidden, scroll, visible. Auto is a by default attribute. Hidden means if the content overflows, you hide the overflowing content. Scroll is you add a scroll to scroll over the content. And visible is do not hide the overflowing content. You just show the overflowing content outside the container. So initially we set it to the default, which is auto. Then float property. Float property controls the content inside the container, uh, its floating direction. So we can change this to we have floating direction like left, right, inline start, inline end. So like I shown you left. If I switch it to right, you can see the content is going to the right side. Mm. Set, setting it to default, which we want in our website. Now the list style is none. List styling is basically the bullets which, as I can show you, if I remove this, you can see the bullets coming in front of the list. If I remove them, list styling as I do not want in our navbar the list style, so I remove the list style and give a suitable margin and margin to it. Then the link in our list, so we do the same, give it a padding. Text decoration, which is text decoration is basically the bold, italic, underline. So I just remove the text decoration because I want to give my own text decoration. So I just remove it, and then color is set to white. So it will be more visible on black. And the font family, that is the font we use, is set to Cortege cursive. We can import fonts from the site Google Fonts. We just go there. That's the suitable font we like this, and import, copy, and like import in our website. And then we can use by copy the CSS property and use wherever we want to use it. So this is about the navbar. Also, one thing we can see, when you hover on this navbar, it changes color to red. So to apply this, we have a hover property. So it controls what to do when we hover on the on any element. So in this case, we want to change its color to red. So in our intro page, we change this color to red. So now we design the navbar. Now the comes the intro form. So for intro form, we needed a heading, label, lab, label, and a input area and a text area. So I create a form. So this is a pre-used script that I extract from VS Code. Snippets are basically the pre-written codes that you can access through some keywords. In this case, I write this code and make it a snippet and get it through a keyword form. So I explain what is written in this. So firstly, I create a division. A division is basically a container in which we are going to write our form. Then, as you can see, as I import this, this is the structure of a form. We do not apply any CSS to it till now. So firstly, we give a heading H1. As I tell you before, the most important heading is intro form. Then form. Form has a attribute action, which is by default set to none. None means if we submit the form, it should done nothing. Action controls what to do when the form is submitted. So initially we set it to none. Then we create a label and the input tag. So label is basically create the contains the ID of the input tag for it for which it is defined. So like full name is defined for full name, email is defined for the email input, branch is defined for these radio boxes, and this is defined for text area. So we give the each of these labels. Then comes the input tag. So input tag contains the attributes like type. Type we can choose from text, email, password, etc. Like here for full name we use type equals to text, and for email we use type equals to email. Then as I told you, to get a particular tag, we set it ID. So for this ID set it to name, and for this ID set it to email. Then for branch selection, we need radio boxes. So for radio boxes, firstly, I give a label. Then for each branch, I create a radio box and give a value to it, which is displayed here. So for CSE, CSE, IT, IT, and EC, EC, and give a name, same name to each radio boxes, so that it signifies a group of radio boxes. So I can select only one of them. Otherwise, if I don't specify the name, we can select multiple from it, which we generally don't do. We use radio box for one selection, as you know, and checkbox for multiple selection. So now that for more info, we use a text area. Uh, so we define the attributes like how many columns are needed for text area, how many rows are needed, and the most important column, most important attribute you see in this are placeholders. Placeholders are what? If we do not write any value in our input sections, so what value it will display. So as you can see, just I click in the input tags, the placeholder will be disappear. So it is the substitute tag used substitute text for uh, 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 used for text. Then CSS. So now we created a form. Now we want to do apply CSS to it. so that it can design like this. So for firstly, registration form. So we defined its position. As you can see, it is on the top left. We want to center it. So for this, we apply properties. Like first, we select position. Position are of two types: relative and absolute. As the name suggests, absolute position defines the position from the start of the body, which is the top left corner, and the relative position is the position relative to any other tag or any other container. So we define position absolute, and we want it in center. So we top 50% and left 50%. So this comes in center, and this transform property does what it first, I show you what happen if I remove it. So as you can see, if I remove the transform property, so it take the distance 50 and 50 from the top left corner. We want the center of this content to be in the center of our body. So for that, we use transform property and set its center to -50 and -50. So now this location is transferred to here, the center. Uh, then the heading, as I told you before, we apply a font size, align it to center. Uh, Text line have other attribute or values also, like justify. Justify do what? It covers the whole line. Justify and start center, and like rightmost, start leftmost, and in this we want to center it. So we set it to center. And the font family, as I told you, import from Google Fonts and use it. So I imported a Sandflower font from Google Font, and I am using it here. Then the registration form label. Now we want to customize labels. So again, we do what? Give it font size, margins, font weight, and a font family. So uh, now you can see the labels are customized. Now for input boxes, as you can see, we want input boxes like this that are little bigger, have rounded curves, and do not have any border. So into, we specifies the font size that will be written in the input text, the padding, width, border, margin, border radius. Border radius controls the radius of the border. We can increase, like if we increase it to 50, you can see these becomes like circular borders. So I reset it to default. That is 10 pixel, and we don't want any outline. That is, we don't want any border. So I set outline to none. Then mostly our form is customized. Just remaining is the submit button. So for submit button customization, we apply this property. Set again, set font size, font weight, margin, padding, width, border, border radius, background color. These all properties we have discussed before. So then in this website we can see, if you hover on the submit button, it changes color to black. So uh, yeah, so to change it, we just use the hover property which we used in the link tag, as I shown you before, the link tag in this. So I set background color to black and color set to blue. We can also RGB is the color selector used in one of the color selector used in VS Code. Other are hexadecimal codes, and another is writing directly the name of the color. So we can select from this thousands of color any color we want. So like black background, so black color is not suitable. So I set it to white. I save it. Uh, So now the text color changed to white and the background switched to black. These RGB values varies from 0 to 45 to 55 each. So this is how we make our intro form website. So this is the HTML and CSS part. The JSS part, which is the functioning, the important part, is discussed in the tomorrow session by Ashish sir. So so these are the resources for it. This will be shared in your chat. And now, if you have any questions, you can ask. Just raise your hand. I will allow them to speak. So, any queries? Anurag Raja. Yes. Hmm. Yeah, Anurag Raja.
Sir, it is Anuraj Raha.
Okay. Sorry, Anuraj Raha. Yes.
Sir, can you please share once again the PPT, the second last slide?
Yes, the whole PPT is shared in the chat. I share the links.
But
Also,
the chat is not able to see.
chat is not with.
No.
Yeah, he will share
I,
it again.
uh, yeah, Anurag, you get it?
Even I
No,
am able to see. I am able to see that.
Yes.
no, sir, I can't able to see that.
Don't worry, Anurag. The PPT and the links are shared in your respective year-wise groups. So don't worry. All the resources will be shared. Uh, other any other person? Any questions? Just mm, I guess now you don't have any queries. So we call off this session. Ashish Kashyap sir.
So thank you, Kunal, for such a great session. I hope you all the participants got introduced to HTML and CSS today. And I know it's not enough to cover all the topics at once in this 1 hour session. Hence, we'll recommend you to go through the provided resources that we have provided at the end of the slide and to learn more about the basics. And thank you all for joining. And we will meet you today. We will meet you all at day 2 of the Web Dev Week tomorrow, where I'll be introducing to JS and DOM. So remember to join by 7 p.m. Thank you.
And